So we'll start. I'd like to start with an invocation. Every stream of knowledge comes through us, to us through a tradition. Right? If you're a mathematician, you didn't invent the numbers from 0 to 9 in your lifetime, right? You took that as your base and you move further. So with every field, it is like that. And so also with the knowledge of yoga, everything that I'm sharing with you has come through thousands of years. So through different teachers that have carried this through all kinds of times that civilization has seen. So we'll start with that spirit of gratitude and that invocation before we begin. Okay? So if you want, you can close your eyes or you can just absorb the chant. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Yogena Chittasya Padena Vacham Malam Sharirasya Cha Vaidyakena Yopakarottam Pravaram Munina Patanjalim Pranjaliranakosmi. Great. You can open your eyes. So Jnana Yoga tells us that there are 3 steps for any knowledge to be absorbed. For knowledge to become a part of our very being, there are 3 steps. So I'll start with those. First is Shravanam, listening. The second is Mananam, thinking about it, absorbing it. And finally, Nididhyasam, integrating it into your very existence. So Shravanam is a critical step, how we listen. If we listen, if you observe, any time that we listen, like right now, there are 2 conversations happening. One between me and you, and one within your own mind. Yes or no? Yes? Okay, what is she saying? I haven't heard this before. Oh, interesting. Does that make sense? Right? So how we listen affects how much we can take in. So I would encourage you to listen with an open mind. If we listen and take in only what we already know, what's the value add? You already know that. And if you reject instantly what you do not know, what's the value add? You know? So I always say on my journey of learning, I always say I have an in box and I have a hold box. I don't have an out box. So some things instantly you're like, yes, this makes sense. Wow, that's right. Thank you. I agree. And some things might be like, oh, I didn't think of it like that. I need to think about this. So that goes into the hold box. Okay? So the first step is Shravanam. In Shravanam, we don't necessarily ask questions. We just wait. Listen first. Yes? Then it is Mananam. Mananam is when you then take that what you've received and connect it with your own life experiences. Okay? So what may make sense to someone right away may not make sense to you right away. Maybe it connects with something for you a week later. Maybe it connects with you 2 years later. Suddenly there's an aha moment. Oh, I remember, we had done this session online at Siam, and that girl, what was her name? She had said this, and now it makes sense to me. So Manana, they just chewing the cud, as they say. The cow takes in the grass and then is chewing it forever. So chewing the cud is Mananan. In Mananan, we can ask questions. So of course, in this session, I'm not saying don't ask questions. I'm saying give yourself time, little time to absorb. So the questions come from a space of relevance to you, because you've had the opportunity to connect them with what's happening in your life, right? Or what you already know. Okay? So that's Mananan. And the final stage is Nididhyas. When it's not something you know from your mind. It's not something you understood. It's just who you are. So your knowledge is a integrated part of your being, right? And that happens through the company you keep, on a path that happens through grace. Like for instance, you're not honest because you have intellectually understood what honesty is. And you have analyzed the merits and demerits of honesty, right? You were in the company of honest parents and you just absorbed it from them, right? So Nididhyas is when things are not just heard at the mind level or at the intellectual level. It is just a part of you. And that happens over time, right? So these are the 3 stages in our learning process. So the mind always seeks proof. It's a tendency of the mind. In fact, in the yoga scriptures, Patanjali's Yoga Sutras, the definition of yoga. So if you have attended this session, which you have, okay, whoever is here today, 34 people are here. You can never leave this session and think of yoga as acrobatics or asanas, okay? That's what you owe me and the knowledge. Nowhere can you allow anyone to go out there and thinking just going to a yoga studio and doing 20 minutes of movement is equal to yoga. Yoga is a science of consciousness. Okay? So Patanjali tells us the very first sutras, the definition of yoga, yogash chitta vritti nirodha. Yoga is the regulation of the mind, restraining the thought waves of the mind. Chitta is actually a conglomerate. It includes the mind, which is what absorbs through the 5 senses. It includes the intellect, which judges and analyzes, like we're doing right now. The mind will see something. The chitta will decide, is this good, is this bad, is this, the intellect, the buddhi will decide this is good, bad, yes, no. And then it also includes the memory. So chitta is actually a conglomerate, the mind stuff. So when the chitta is regulated and it quietens down and you get into the space, a deeper space within, the space of the seer, that is the experience of yoga. And all the practices are just to get us into that space, okay? That space of internal equanimity. So all the asanas and how you do it, exercise is like superficial. Weight loss is like superficial. It's like the shopping bag. You don't go to a store to get a shopping bag, although some stores have amazing shopping bags and you think, wow, that bag looks so cool. Can I get that bag? But you go for something more precious, right? So, and he explains what are the 5 things that cause these modulations in the mind. And the number 1 thing is seeking proof. Praman, Viparya, Vikalp, Smrita, Nidra, Smriti. Okay, I won't get into the 5 in detail, but why I'm telling you this is because when I'm speaking also and when I'm sharing also with the techniques also, the mind says, why should I do this breathing? Prove to me that it's good for me. Tell me about this meditation. What are the studies about meditation? The mind is always seeking proof. It's a known tendency from thousands of years, okay? So we are not any different even though we have a Stanford education. That's how the mind works, okay? So, and in fact, the scriptures are phenomenal because the precision in our country, the understanding of the mind and consciousness is unbeatable. There are 3 kinds of proofs. Pratyaksha, Anuman, Agama. Pratyaksha is what is obvious. The air condition is on 18. It's cold, you know. Even if you don't have the remote, if you don't have a way to know that it's 18, you know it's cold. To you, it's obvious. That is your proof. Anuman, inference. I see smoke. I infer, hey, looks like something is on fire. Agama. That's what the Bible says. Some text, it may be a scientific text for you, it may be a mathematical text for you, whatever. Some text tells me, and so I see this as proof. But yoga is beyond proof. That's what we are told. And why is it so valuable to go beyond proof from time to time? It is not to say don't use your intelligence. It is through intelligence. It is recognizing the limitations of intelligence that we can take the journey beyond. And we have in many, many times in life. Like you walk into a room, okay? Immediately you might look sometime and say, what happened? You guys had a fight or what? If you know people well, sometime it might have happened, okay? You have no proof what argument took place before you walked in, but you immediately sense it, right? You have not heard those words of debate, but you have sensed their vibration. Mothers, if a mother has a child and there is anything wrong with that child, she knows it well before the doctor. She knows I've got to take my kid to the doctor. There is something wrong. Why isn't he speaking yet? Why isn't he walking like this? Why is this? It's not based on her great genius biological understanding, but she knows. So all I'm saying is, for us who have received the best of the intellect, our education has prepared us to associate our entire existence with the mind. I think, therefore I am. But in this science, it is I am. And I also think. It is a part of me. Yes? So this is a beautiful journey. And if we can make that journey and if we can incorporate that as a part of our life, wow, what a difference. What a difference to our existence. What a difference to every contribution you make. Intuition. It's not based on proof. Data comes after the fact, right? Things have already happened to create a study. Things have already happened to give you data. But your intuition might precede that. You choose, there's so many investors in this group, right? You have some sense. The facts show 3 companies could do well. Something tells you, I'm going to bet on this horse. Something tells you that, right? So the more you can tap into that space, the more your life, just the dimension just changed. So to operate from multiple dimensions is your capability as a human being. So why not? It's about exploring your own potential. That's what this journey is about, really. So I want to start. Is that good for everybody? Yes? So
there are some words I cannot, there are some words that I miss, Can you put the mic closer to your mouth? There are some words I miss,
Okay, I'll do that.
At least some of the ending of the sentences, are not audible.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, please listen, make this session your home. Thank you so much for saying that. Make this session yours. So just, if there's something like that, then just interrupt. Is this better, Rohit? Is this better?
Yeah, it is much better now.
Okay, great. Thank you. Lovely. So I have planned certain things that I'd like to share for our immunity and given this time. And then the flow is, I will share some immunity building tips. I will take us through some breathing practices which we can do daily, and I will guide us through a meditation, and then we will end. So questions will be before we start our practice, because the whole idea of the meditation is moving beyond. So we will not end with too much choo 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 choo. We will end in a beautiful space. So I received some questions beforehand. So I would like to begin by addressing them before I share the other things that I'd like to. So in all sincerity to the people who had questions. Is that good with everybody?
Yes.
Okay. So Manu, can you, so one question I received directly, so I'll answer that. So people have questions about what they can do with their children, younger children, teen children, the breathing practices, or what can we do, right? So the thing is that our minds, our concerns are not the same as someone who's 8 years old. Obviously, go back to when you were 8. You had different things on your mind. Maybe there's a bully in class, that bothers you. Maybe there's something else going on. Maybe you're too hyperactive. Maybe you cannot focus. So your issue is different at 8 when you're 16, 17. Suddenly, maybe there are boyfriend issues. Maybe there's peer pressure issues. So our life experiences change with age. So the practices that are relevant to that mindset, to that nervous system, are different from what they are for a 45-year-old, for a 55-year-old. Okay? So I won't be sharing those now, but I will connect. Like I know who asked me this question. If anybody else has this question, I will connect with you separately and help you with whatever taking forward for your children. Okay? So anyone with kids, like, we will connect separately, because we can't, what I'm doing here, you don't take back and tell your kids. Also for kids, it's very important to learn these things with other kids. You're an auntie for them, Baba. They don't want to start doing breathing and meditation with you. And then what they get when they're doing it with you is, unless it's something they've grown up with, unless since 2 years old you've been having a lot of this in your house, then they don't even question it. They just go right with it. But if not, then it's something that older people do, which is not the case. What you want for them is that, hey, they discover like the value of this. That's why they do it with their friends. So we get a group together, and that's why it's very different. We don't give them the gyan that we give each other. Okay. So Manu, the questions.
Yes. So you can hear me, right?
Yes, I can hear you.
Amazing. So we have a question. We have a couple of incredible questions from Simran Bhargava. The first question is, and I love this question: can something good come out of these dark COVID times?
Can something good come out of these dark times? Something good on many fronts has already come out of these dark times. Nature everywhere is healing. We have seen that. And we have stopped enough to appreciate that. There's so many beautiful shots of birds, bees, animals, the sky. This session was going to be together with poetry originally. And then because of these times, we decided to have a separate session for wellness. So I see this across the board, that in these times, so many people who had the agenda to take care of themselves, to devote some time to breathing and meditation, have finally buckled down and done that. So that's something great. There's amazing creativity flowing. Part of the reason why we did it is not just because this session deserved its own time, but also poetry now deserves a full other session. It's not going to be relegated by the techies. So the fuzzies have done a lot of writing, and a lot of different people have written poems, during this time, who were not maybe doing so before. So lots of good things have come. But yes, the times are trying. So it depends, like with any other time in life, it really depends with what you do with that time, your approach, your attitude, and the direction that you get. So that's my answer to
that. The next question is, I love that. How do you cope when a huge wave of anxiety, uncertainty, and endless concerns come to your mind, especially when you're concerned for a loved one?
Very often we love someone more than we even love ourselves. I'm sure there could even be people here, for instance, who have been wanting to give up smoking forever. And suddenly they find their soulmate. And they say, you know what? I'm going to give it up for him, or I'm going to give it up for her. So it's true that seeing our loved ones in pain is often more painful than any pain that we go through. So I really appreciate these absolutely genuine questions. And there are two things. One is, if they are amenable, then bring them to knowledge, bring them to some wisdom, some breathing, some meditation that can heal body and mind. If you can do that for them, that's the biggest gift. So that's the first thing I'll say. For that, you need two things: patience and perseverance. Sometimes it takes a long time for people to come, and you need to be patient, because as someone who loves them, sometimes we lose it, right? What's the point? I've been telling them forever, forget about it. So you lose your patience and you stop persevering. But you need to be patient and persevering with your loved ones. So the first thing is, if you can do that for them. The second thing is, if for any reason you just feel, then what you can absolutely do is pray. So I'm sure there are a lot of studies also that have shown that prayers are very powerful, but they really are. Thoughts reach very, very far. I'm sure many of us would have had a simple experience of life that you're thinking of somebody and they call. At least once in a life, someone has had this experience. Yes? No? I see some nods. Yeah. So the thought reaches. So pray for them. You know, even if you can't speak to them, pray for them. There's a beautiful book, Proof of Heaven, and it's written by Dr. Eben Alexander, who was a neuroscientist who was brain dead for an entire week. And I can't believe how he's written that book. It's a beautiful book. So I would encourage you to read it. And a lot of it will show you the value of the knowledge that we have in this country. And also, his son was praying for him. And he shares that his son was 10 years old and he was in coma for a week and he came back. So pray. So that's my two things. You know, see what you can do for them. And if there's nothing you can do for them, then pray for them. Yes, Manu.
And finally, we seem to have developed a new relationship with mortality, right? We actually may not see close friends again, and we feel we are closer to mortality than we did before this. What could be a new way of relating to mortality for us at this time?
Yeah, so mortality is a big word for death. Let the knowledge of death make us aware of life. That's what I would say. Every day you're closer to death, and everybody is closer to death by that day. So let the knowledge of death make us value life, make us value time, make us value what we want to do with that time. And scientifically and spiritually, death is not the end. So science says that energy cannot be destroyed, right? Created or destroyed. It's just transformed. And we are matter and spirit, undoubtedly. It's your spirit that guides you to do what you want to do, to achieve your goals. You execute it, but it comes from your spirit. You know, you want to do something, you create something, you dream up something. So you are spirit. And spiritually also, right? Like the second chapter of the Gita is all, I mean, the whole Gita is that, but the second chapter for sure. So we are told that changing the body is like changing a pair of clothes. You remain, you remain, you remain. So in fact, everything has life form. A stone has 1 unit of life. Water has 2. Fire has 3. Air 4. Ether 5. Plants 6. Animals 7. And human beings are Ashtavasu with 8 units of life. Geniuses have 9 or 10 units of life. So in fact, when you leave the body, your life force increases. You are actually more powerful. So depending on the capacity of the soul that goes, they can bless you. They can reach different places. You know, there's only so much we can travel when we're in the body. So it's not such a bad thing. It's an inevitability. So don't focus on it. pray for a long, healthy life, pray to do the best with the gift that you have of this body and being here and the life force in you, use it.
Fantastic. You can now, I think those are all the questions we had.
Okay, great. So, is everyone doing okay? Yes? Anyone want to pause and say anything, or, shall I just dive in and continue? Give me a thumbs up, give me some indication how you're doing. Everyone's with me? Okay, lovely. So, immunity building tips. Thank you. So we have this invisible virus, right? Like that's what's scary about it, I guess, right? You don't know where it's going to come from. You don't know it's in the delivery package. You don't know if it's like here, if it's there, whatever. But guess what? We have powerful invisible forces in us too. One of them is our immunity. The other is intuition. So there is actually a constant battle going on within us. You know that. There are lots of things that attack us on a daily basis, and our body's been fighting them forever. So we just need to enhance that capability in our body and have it work to its optimum right now. So it begins with making sure that you really cut down as far as possible on as many toxins that are coming into your system, right? Alcohol, tobacco, this is a respiratory disorder, and both of them affect your lung function. So it's really important to cut that down as far as possible in general in life, but particularly now. So eating things that nourish your body as far as possible. So fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, vitamin C, mangoes are kind of still in season. They're a great source of vitamin C. So if you can have fresh fruit, it's great. Little bit of lemon in warm water is excellent. Turmeric, excellent antiviral, excellent antibacterial, excellent anti-inflammatory. Turmeric is practically in every Indian household. So there is something called amba haldar, which is available in winter, which is like, it's a yellow orange, 2 shades of turmeric. If that's still available in the market, you get it, you chop it fresh, you put it in a glass jar, create a brine solution with some water and lemon, and you have a little bit of it every day with a little bit of black pepper. The pepper helps the body absorb the turmeric more. Okay. If you don't have the fresh amba haldar, if it's not in season, that's okay. Just take powdered turmeric, little black pepper, little ginger in a glass of warm water, and you can have it after your meals. Okay. Why I say fresh fruits and vegetables? Because technically I can get down to, listen, get this vitamin, get this mineral, but I just feel you can't have a meal academically. We eat like 3 times a day. Every day you can't sit and make a chart and say, okay, now I've got this. It's not practical. So there are some basics that you should know. So, everyone talks about macronutrients, everyone talks about carbs, proteins, and what's the third thing? Fats, But micronutrients are equally important, and they are abundant in fruits and vegetables. So when you're plating your food, if you can have half a plate of vegetables, quarter plate protein, quarter plate carbs, and in carbs, whole wheat. So white is a color of purity, right? Like what I'm wearing, and white exudes that purity. But there are 3 exceptions to this. White flour, white sugar, and too much white salt. So these are the 3 whites that you should also kind of avoid. So whole wheat is better. Sugar reduces your immunity immediately after consumption. So even while you're home, it's tempting to have lots of cookies and lots of cakes and lots of sugary things, but it's good to cut down, right? Cut down on processed foods. Processed foods are usually anything that's packaged, anything that you can keep out on your table and it will not die for long means it's processed. Because anything fresh will not lie on your table. It will start to change. So that's where the real energy is. That's where the life force is, because it is evolving, So eat food that's alive, okay? So avoid as much processed food. It is low in fiber, which you need. It is too high in preservatives. And sugar, oh my God, you need to look this up, has a million names. And everyone in the packaged food industry has figured out a million names for sugar so that you don't know that there's sugar in what they put. Okay. So when you have packaged things, read the ingredients. Okay. So dextrose and corn syrup and fructose and there's so many weird names for sugar. Okay. And there are a lot of Google charts on this. So look that up. Okay? So fruits, vegetables, eat a rainbow is what I say. Okay, so colorful vegetables. So look for color when you're plating things. So don't eat the same color of vegetables every day. Oh, I love gobi, so I'll keep having aloo gobi only. No. So gobi, okay, you've cooked it a certain way. Now you have gajar, then you have fancy, then you have sweet potato. So keep varying your vegetables, alag alag. So different variety of fruits and vegetables, nuts and seeds. They have all these macronutrients, selenium, zinc, all that is there in nuts and seeds. Good fats, good for the brain also. So B12, because right now many of us may not even be able to source good quality food. You're making do with whatever's available. So get a B12 supplement. The two forms of B12, methylcobalamin and cyanocobalamin. What I understand is the body is better able to absorb methylcobalamin. And Walkart has a 500 mg methylcobalamin that's pretty easily available. So I recommend getting that. D3, we've been indoors a lot, so we may not have got enough sunlight. So D3 is important for the absorption of calcium in the body. So you might need these two as supplements. There are some fantastic herbal supplements that I have been taking ever since the lockdown. And the herbs are very potent. So Arka means a drop has the potency. So there is a thing called Shakti drops that I have from Shri Shri Tattva, which is a tiny bottle and it has 8 organic herbs. So I have that every day. And there is another herb called Amrit. So I'm going to do a quick screen share on that so that you can see what it looks like. If you would want to order it online, you can get it from Amazon. Can you see this? Yes? Okay. So amla, it has so much vitamin C. Ashwagandha relieves stress. Brahmi is excellent for the brain. Yashti Madhu is good for the throat. So there are 8 invaluable herbs in this. And I highly recommend it. It's made by meditators. And the second thing that I have every day, twice a day, is an immunomodulator called Amrit. And they've sent me this. I had these slides, by the way, sent to me from the Art of Living Center because I said, I'm talking to Stanford guys. I show them anything in the bottle. They're going to be like, what is this? So I said, please send me something proper also. So these are all the studies on this that have been done on this. So I have this twice a day. And you can buy these on Amazon. I'll direct you. And it's very, very good to do that because you know that you're doing something other than all your nutrition. Okay, so this is as far as diet goes. Sleep, so critical for your immunity. So critical for your immunity. Okay, so sleep is neither a luxury nor an indulgence. It is a necessity. Why do children, when they're born babies, why do they sleep so much? Because their body is multiplying. It is growing, So sleep is a heightened catabolic state when all the repair is happening in your sleep. Okay. So very important to get our sleep. In fact, there was a Stanford study on the basketball players on sleep. And when they increased their sleep to 8.5 hours a day, they were less fatigued, they were less exhausted, and their performance increased in their sprint by 1 full second. And their free throws increased by 9%. So performance really goes up when you sleep well. And melatonin is produced by the pineal glands at night. Okay? So when it gets dark, by about 10 p.m., that's when it starts. And melatonin is an antioxidant, anti-cancer hormone, and it plays a very important part in sleep regulation. Okay, so make sure you get good sleep. Water, drink lots of water. It's a good idea to not drink water with your meals too much. Sometimes people drink 2-3 glasses of water with food. But actually, see, when you eat food now, your digestive fire is getting activated, and it needs to process that food. So if you have a lot of water, then you're dousing that digestive fire. You're slowing down the process of digestion. So half an hour, 45 minutes before a meal, you should not take water. With your food, if your food has dal, if it has soup, then you're getting enough of the liquids. If it doesn't, then you can have some water, but sip it. So in Ayurveda, they say, eat your water and drink your food. So what that means is that don't gulp your water, have it slowly. Water is also something that your body digests. And what it's saying is don't gobble your food, chew your food properly. You know, I don't want to name resorts, but like whoever is a wellness, what should I say? I want to say freak, but that doesn't sound like a good word at all. But someone who's like keeps checking out spas. So, there's this famous spa in a European country, and they spend so much time teaching you how to chew. They make you chew 36 times every bite, but this is ancient knowledge. So just by chewing right, you don't have to pay your euros to learn that, guys. So the digestion happens better. Okay. So I told you about diet, I told you about sleep, I told you about this. I think that kind of covers what I'd like to tell you about immunity. Breathing and meditation. Okay, so what is the value of breathing and meditation? Both of them boost your immunity. So think about it, in a day, we must be having 1-2 kilos of food, right? But do you know how much air we breathe? Someone guess. Someone guess. How many liters of air do you breathe in a day? A wild shot. Come on, you're all geniuses, yeah. And we are among friends. So who cares what your answer is? Just say something.
15,000 liters.
Who said that?
The guy who wasn't able to introduce himself, Ajay Lavakare, Delhi.
Ah, yeah. Oh, hey, Ajay. Yes. Okay, great. Well, yeah. Isn't that incredible? Ajay, I hope you didn't just cheat and Google that just now, huh?
No, this was actually courtesy my wife, who's also listening in.
Ah, okay, lovely, lovely. Yeah, we breathe in like 11,000 liters of air. And most of us use a third of our lung capacity. We're not even using our lungs to our optimum capacity. So of course, breathing exercises help you do that. Okay. So that's the science of it. And yoga, why? So there are different breathing practices that help us in yoga, but our mind is connected with our breath and emotions. See, if you think back to a time when you were really angry, and now if I start yelling and screaming and I get really upset and I start shouting, then how is my breath? Become very short and shallow, right? Same, if you're really down, you're feeling very low, if you're unwell, you start sighing and your whole breath becomes heavy. You can feel it, right? You can feel the difference. So our emotions are always, every moment, getting reflected in our breath. But emotions, everybody who wants to get angry, you don't have a choice, right? Does anyone decide hey man, today I promise to get angry at least once? No, the emotion takes over and it reflects. But by paying attention to the breath, you can keep your emotions in check, right? So for all our degrees, some of us have undergrad, some of us have masters, some of us have MBAs, some of maybe PhDs from Stanford. For all our degrees, can we tell our mind, okay, for the next 5 minutes, no thoughts? Is it going to work? Can't, right? Can't. But if you tell your mind, okay, I want to breathe in, can you breathe in when I tell you to breathe in? Yes. Can you hold your breath? Yes. Can you exhale? Yes. So the mind is like a kite, and the kite string is your breath. So it's nature's gift. You don't even need to wait for contactless delivery. It's with you. All the doctors in the house, what's the first thing that we do when we're born? Cry. Before we cry, we breathe in. If you don't cry, the doctor will spank your bottom because he wants to make sure the air is moving. You cry on your exhale. So that's a sign to him, okay, sab theek hai. This kid is okay. And the last thing we do is we breathe out. And everything in between is what we call life. So that's how precious the breath is. It is life in many ways. So of course, the breath, yes. Meditation. It helps you tap into your intuition. So now meditation has become a really big deal. Like it's a talk everywhere. No, and please call it meditation and not mindfulness. Mindfulness is like the parking lot. Mindfulness is being aware. Mindful means there are two. Someone is mindful of something. There's duality. Meditation is the dissolution of the mind into its fullness. So meditation is beyond mindfulness. It's a different state. So meditation definitely boosts immunity in a big way. In fact, people have an aura, right? So I always say lucky are the ones, many people can go to the gym and do a workout. No big deal to grow your muscles. You get to work on your aura in this lifetime. That's something to talk about. That's a presence, right? So whenever any substance has to enter you, it has to penetrate your aura. So meditation is very powerful. And there are a lot of studies now on the brain through functional MRIs, as you know. And when they've studied these, they found that wherever there is more gray matter activity, it shows that that part of the brain has been activated. So studies on meditation have shown activation in the hippocampus, which is responsible for learning and memory, in the insula, which is important, responsible for more self-awareness. So your emotional quotient and your mind. Cortical thickness decreases with age, but in meditators, it has not decreased. It shows an increase. If you study the top 10 ailments that WHO puts out every year, it's fascinating. In the 2006 study, there is no mention of dementia or Alzheimer's in the top 10. And 2016, it's up there, above diabetes. So mental things. We wiped out our brain by thinking too much, So you really need to go beyond, So meditation is anti-aging. So this is all the science between why breathe, why meditate. And I want to quickly do another screen share on a very powerful breathing practice, which I cannot share with you today because it requires a full program. It requires a different rhythm. But I practice it have been practicing it for 20 years now. It's called the Sudarshan Kriya. I used to have a morning cold my entire life. And after doing this practice, it just disappeared. So I know from personal experience that it really boosts your immunity. And that's just the superficial benefit, honestly speaking, much deeper, more powerful benefits. But I'm not going to go into it in detail because I want to move on to actually experiencing some breathing and meditation together. But I'm going to do a quick screen share on that. How do I get to that? That didn't happen. Sorry, huh? Hey, Ajay and Manu, like if I've got my Safari, if it's open on Safari, how do I do that?
Just when you click screen share, it will show you which apps you want to share. Just click on Safari, or you can do the entire desktop and you can just show the entire desktop.
Yeah, but that's what I did. Okay. Yeah. Got it. Okay. Can you see my screen which says research on Sudarshan Kriya Yoga? Yes? Okay.
Only see the header.
Yeah. So I'm just scrolling down. I'm running us through it very quickly. Okay. So this is some of the studies. 33% increase in lymphocytes, which are like WBCs. Reduction in stress. So stress increases.
Oh, we can't see the screen.
No, we can't see it. We can't see it.
We can only see the
See the header.
We just see research on Sudarshan Kriya Yoga.
Yeah, Natasha, do you want to just try it again? Just do the whole thing again. It might be just like a weird bug.
Okay.
Can you click on that
No? Okay, don't worry, guys. I will read it to you. But I can share the link on the chat because it's online. It's actually on our website. But there are over 70. I might as well stop the share because you can't see it. But there are over 70 published studies on it. So what stress does to our system. So when you're stressed, right? Like why was I stressed? Actually, because it's like if a lion comes in front of you and you're stressed about it, your body goes into fight and flight mode. Okay, what that means is it releases adrenaline, it releases epinephrine, blood goes out to the legs and the hands and the body prepares you to run. Now, there are no lions that we come across physically, but these are all the monsters, all the fears that we have, all the paranoia that we get, all the anxiety that happens, all the apprehensions about what may happen. And this is what happens to our nervous system through that stress. Okay, you're constantly in that fight and flight mode. So cortisol is a hormone that's a stress-related hormone that's high, and it suppresses your immunity. So stress is like, it's really like the worst thing right now. Your body a relaxed body can fight things. But when you're stressed about it, then it reduces your immunity. So the Sudarshan Kriya has shown remission in even clinical depression, 67% remission, increase in white blood cells and lymphocytes, reduction in cortisol. So there are many studies, and I would really like for all of us to experience that. I have a program on next week, and if you'd like to be on that, just touch base with me. We can at some point do one just for our group, and we need more time commitment because it's several days for a couple of hours. Right now it's all online, for a couple of hours for 4 days, and we can definitely all just do it together. But I will share different breathing practices with you today that we can just get into now. So are we ready to do some breathing and meditation, guys? I see some questions on chat, but I just feel like there's too much talking now. We should experience. What do you say?
Sounds good.
Yeah, sounds good. Everyone, good? We'll do some breathing together now. Okay. All right. So I'm going to do 2 breathing practices with us and then a guided meditation. All right. So depending on the time. Actually, I'm going to do 3 because one is kind of like an SOS, and I'm going to give you the SOS first. Okay. So anytime you just feel it's too much. Okay. Then breathe in from your nose and exhale slowly from the mouth with a long. Okay. So breathe in from the nose and exhale from the mouth. So this helps relieve any kind of panic or anxiety like you might have because of some stock market news or some exam fever or some sudden thing. You can even do it lying down before you sleep. So it's a very simple thing. Okay. And it's not like a exhale. It's a slow exhale. Breathe in and okay. Otherwise, we always breathe in and exhale through our nose. Okay, so this is the first one. The second one is Bhastrika. Okay. So I'm going to demonstrate, and I'm changing the positioning of my laptop so that you can see my arms. I'm going to mute myself. Okay, so in Bhastrika, I will demonstrate, and then we'll do it together. If you have high blood pressure, then you take it easy. You can do it with lighter breathing. If you have had any major surgery, then you could just avoid it right now. If you are a heart patient also, then you can avoid this right now. Okay. For everyone else, we do it with a little bit of energy. Okay. Not like that, huh? Not puski, like josh ke saath, right? So watch me first. So in Bhastrika, we have a loose fist in front of our shoulders. It's a loose fist. So I'm not like, there's no, everything is very relaxed. Okay. So loose fist in front of your shoulders. Your elbows are close to your body. So they're not here like you're lifting weights. They're not in front of you like you're rowing a boat. They're right here. So, this kind of thing. All right. And watch what I'm doing. Okay. And join in. Breathe in, out, in, out. Come on, everybody. In, out, up, down. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. It, energy. In, 8. In, 9. In, 10. In, 11. In, 12. In, 13. Eyes closed. In, 15. In, 16. In, 17. In, 18. In, 19. In, 20. And relax. Palms on your lap. Eyes are closed. If you can, please keep your video on so I will check. Eyes are closed. Second round. Once again, loose fist in front of your shoulders. Elbows are close to your body. So your fist is in front of your shoulders, okay? It's not like near your ears. It's a little lower, yeah, good. And when you hear in, you breathe in, your hands will go up and open. And when you hear the number, you will exhale with energy and your hands will come down. So we'll do it all together. Breathing in, take a normal breath in and let go. Breathing in all together with energy. Breathe in, 1, in, 2, in, 3, in, 4, in 5, in 6, in 7, in 8, in 9, in 10, in 11, in 12, in 13, in 14, in 15, in 16, in 17, in 18, in 19, and relax. Feel all the sensations in your body. Third round. Eyes are closed. Feel free to keep your eyes closed because I am checking everyone who has their video on. So you be relaxed. Elbows close to your body. Take a normal breath in and let go. Breathing in all together with energy. Breathe in 1, in 2, up, down, up, down, in 5, in 6, in 7, in 8, in 9, in 10, in 11, in 12, in 13, in 14, in 15, in 16, in 17, in 18, in 19, in and relax. Palms on your lap facing the sky, eyes remain closed. Slowly and gently, you may open your eyes. Good? Great. Everyone have it? So Bhastrika, you can do twice a day like this, 3 rounds. So all your breathing and meditation should always be done before food. So not after a meal. You can do it in the morning, you can do it in the evening, you can even do it in the middle of the day. Okay. The second pranayam we'll do is Nadi Shodhan pranayam, and this is very gentle, so you can do it even if you've had a surgery or if you've had any, you can still do Nadi Shodhan. It's very light, everyone can do it, and it's excellent. Okay. So Nadi means channel. So just like we have a nervous system and a circulatory system for our blood, we have a circulatory system for energy, and a nadi is a channel for that energy. Shodhan means purifying. So nadi shodhan pranayam purifies our energy channels, allowing the prana to move and all the vital functions to happen at their optimum level. Okay. So we have 3 prominent, the 72,000 plus nadis, and some scriptures say 3.5 lakh nadis also, but 3 prominent nadis, the Ida, Pingla and Sushumna. So right and left. So in Nadi Shodhan Pranayam, it's like how we say now, we have left hemisphere, right hemisphere, we say. So like that, balancing out the left and the right. So I will demonstrate, you watch me, and then we'll do it together. So first, your left hand, and this we can all do. Left hand, join your index finger and thumb very lightly. So we're not pressing, it's a very light contact. The other 3 fingers are close together. So not opened out, close together. Beautiful. Just like you're saying must, just like that. Excellent. And just place that on your left thigh, left knee. Right hand we use to open and close our nostrils. So index finger, middle finger close together. Ring finger and thumb will be on our nostrils. So index and middle fingers between the brows, making a feather touch contact with your forehead. So no pressing, no pressure. Feather touch. Index finger and middle finger. Yeah, not ring finger. Index finger and middle finger. Here, thumb on the right nostril, ring finger on the left nostril. So don't let this hang out like this. Okay, watch me. See, it's like on my brow. Close the right nostril with a gentle pressure from your thumb and exhale fully from the left. Inhale from the left, eyes are closed. Press with your ring finger. Exhale from the right. Inhale from the right. Close with the thumb. Exhale from the left. This was one round. Inhale again from the left. Close. Exhale from the right. Inhale from the right. Close. Exhale from the left. So second round. Now continue at your own pace. 5 more rounds at your own pace. When you finish 5 rounds, you may relax both palms on your lap, facing the sky, eyes remain closed. Let's take a deep breath in, straighten the spine, and as you exhale, relax the shoulders, keep your neck and shoulders loose. Take another deep breath in and exhale. Keep a gentle smile on your face. Breathe in with a smile. Breathe out with a smile. Breathe in again. And as you breathe out, let the weight of your body drop on the seat below you. 60, 70, 80, 90 kilos, whatever may be your weight, just let it drop on the seat below you. Become aware of all the sounds in your environment. It may be a fan or air conditioner. It may be some hustle bustle in a room around you. It may be the sound of your device or even the sound of your breath. Become aware of each and every sound in your environment and accept them as they are. Just let them be. Take a breath in and let go. You are in harmony with your environment. Take your attention to your body. This body is a precious gift to us from nature. Let us honor the body. Take your attention to your feet. Relax your feet. Relax your calves. Relax your knees and thighs. Feel all the muscles in your leg turn into jelly and melt away. Relax the genitals. Abdomen. Stomach. Chest. Shoulders. right arm, left arm, back, throat, back of the head, forehead, eyebrows, eyes, lips, top of the head, your whole body. Relax your whole. Take a breath in and let go. You are in harmony with your body. Take your attention to your thoughts. Good thoughts, bad thoughts. Just let them come and go. Breathe in again and let go. You are in harmony with your. Take your attention to your feelings, pleasant and pleasant. Just let them be. Breathe in again and let go. You are in harmony with your feelings. Om Asatu Ma Satgamaya Tamaso ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityurma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. You are peace. You are joy. Become aware of your feelings, if any. Become aware of your thoughts, if any. Become aware of your body and your environment, the room that you're in, the seat that you're on. Take a gentle breath in and out. Another breath in and exhale. And slowly and gently, whenever you feel ready and complete, you may open your eyes. Welcome back. Good.
Almost fell
Anyone
asleep.
want to say or share? Sorry, Maria, what did you say?
Almost fell asleep.
Almost fell asleep or beyond sleep. Anyone want to say or share anything? Good.
It's very
Great. So I noticed a couple of questions, so I'll just quickly share on that. A couple of people have asked that how, when you don't know how to protect yourself, like what is the immunity level that will protect yourself from the virus, right? So we don't know that, obviously, but clearly different people are affected differently. There are many asymptomatic people. There are many people who are testing positive. I know of people who have recovered very quickly. So instead of focusing on something that we're not aware of, we do know how we can build our own fortress, right? So that's what I would do. Just work on your immunity and just hope that you never need to know how good it is and whether it can back later. Yeah. And then someone asked about fasting, right? To de-stress. So definitely, yeah, fasting does help calm the whole nervous system, but it needs to be done according to your prakriti. So if you're a pitta prakriti, for example, then it could cause acidity and it can aggravate you even more if you are denying yourself food. So you should do it in balance. Are there any other questions that I haven't seen or anything else, Manu?
I don't think so, Natasha. That was fantastic.
Thank you.
I felt like I woke up after like a long time. It felt great.
Natasha, on the Bhastrika, if you have a creeping up BP, not really hypertension, so how slowly do you do it? How often do you do it? Or do you just not do it at all?
What is a creeping up BP?
Let's say it's hovering, it's not really in the criteria of hypertension. Let's say we're, off and on we record a high BP.
So do the Nadi Shodhan, that's excellent to keep it in check. Meditation is excellent to keep it in check. I want to share with you here, I hope that this screen share works. Can you see this? Can you see this image?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, this is an app which you can download. So it is a meditation app which I recommend. There are COVID-19 special meditations on it right now, and all the meditations are. So the meditation will definitely help keep BP in check, Maria. And for the Bhastrika, I will say that just go by your experience. Okay, so if you don't really have high BP, honestly, I have seen people on my programs with high BP also do the Bhastrika and be completely fine with it. So if you don't even have high BP, just do it normally. And then if you're finding that it is aggravating the pressure, then you just regulate it. It's 20 times, 3 rounds. But you just do the same thing with putting less energy behind it. Okay, so gentler. Is that good?
Perfect.
Anyone else? See, before I want to invite someone. So anyone else wants to say or share anything? I'd like to invite my fellow poet friend Nadir. Nadir, you're there now?
Yes, I'm there. Can you hear me?
Yes. Your visual has gone. That's why I asked. So guys, thank you so much. And I wanted to invite
Can you see me now?
alum Nadir and fellow poet. He's written us a beautiful poem on balance, and I'd like to invite him to read it to us in closing.
Thank you, Natasha. Thank you for a wonderful session. Well, now it is quite the fashion to steadfastly follow your passion. We shouldn't settle into a groove and be ready to always move. While in our work, we must have pride. Our interests should be very wide. Do rely on your expertise, but don't miss the forest for the trees. By the specialist, much can be missed that won't escape the generalist. In bad times, keep your pluck. A careful balance should be struck between your work and your life, between the husband and the wife, between the boss and employee. So balance each duality. And learning always should be sought by very different modes of thought. No matter with what lens you see, use reason as well as empathy. Bear in mind that real wealth consists in having the best of health. If you take on too much stress, your life could turn into a mess. We now live in troubled times, which I can't gloss over with my rhymes. The coronavirus strikes us all, and economies are in free fall. Recovery will take a while, but all goes better with a smile.
Yes. So lovely. So lovely.